My parents sued to evict me, so my sister could own her first home. In court, under cold lights, I could barely breathe. Their lawyer smiled like cruelty had manners. My mom avoided my eyes. My dad looked through me. And my sister, Ava, wore white like guilt could be washed. The judge asked for statements. Then my daughter stood up, hands small but steady. "Can I show you something Mommy doesn't know?" she asked. The room froze. I'm Clara, 35, architect, single mom. The one who fixes what everyone else breaks. The one who built a home behind my parents' house. Now they're suing to take it back. Nora opened her backpack, pulled out her tablet. A 7-year-old pressed play, and the grown-ups stopped pretending. I used to think being useful meant being loved. When the fence leaned, they called me. When the roof leaked, they called me. When Ava needed a backdrop for her pop-up shop, I showed up. Again. Paint on my hands. Silence on theirs. I built things. They built expectations. 2 years ago, after Nora's hospital stay, I moved into the carriage house behind my parents' place. Not a favor. I paid for lumber, wiring, permits. My dad called it temporary. My mom smiled like she already had an end date. The crack started at Sunday dinner. Roast chicken, lemon oil, plates too shiny to feel real. Ava swirled her wine and said, "It's kind of perfect back there. Like a starter home." "For who?" I asked. "For me," she said. "I'm 30. It's time to own something." No one looked at me. Not my mother, not my father. Just Nora whispering, "Can I have your drumstick?" "Take both," I said, because suddenly I didn't want any. The next week, my mom texted, "Coffee? Just us." I arrived, boots still dusty from work. She had a folder, crisp and smiling. "We've been talking," she began. "Ava's been saving. We think it's time to make things official." "Official how?" She slid the folder across the table. Inside, an agreement, clean fonts, cold intentions, 90 days to move out. "Family legacy," it read. I laughed. "Not funny, just tired. Have you ever realized a family meeting was an ambush? It changes the way you hear your name." They called it legacy. The summons called me defendant. For weeks I didn't fight. I documented. Every transfer note, every email, every thanks again text. Rent payments marked carriage house utilities. Photos of the new wiring, the egress windows I installed myself. When people rewrite history, paper doesn't. I printed everything, slid it into labeled folders. "Proof," I whispered, hole-punching another receipt. Nora called them Mom's homework. At night, after she fell asleep, I sat by the window, staring at the backyard lights. It looked peaceful, from a distance. That's how manipulation works. It feels like love when you're far enough away. Ava started stopping by uninvited. She'd stand in my doorway, eyes scanning the walls. "I could do floating shelves here," she mused. Like she already owned it. Once she ran her hand along the brick. "Maybe paint this a warmer color." I said nothing, because every word felt like giving permission. When Nora asked, "Are we moving?" I told her, "Not if I can help it." Her small hand found mine. "You can help it," she said, with the kind of faith I'd forgotten to have. That night, I called Ethan, my ex. "I might need help with Nora if this goes to court." He was quiet for a beat. "Did your parents actually serve you? Certified mail and everything." He sighed. "Clara, I'm sorry." "Don't be," I said. "Just keep her out of it." After that, I practiced calm, standing in front of the mirror, rehearsing what I'd say if they tried to paint me as ungrateful. Because women who raise their voices get labeled hysterical. Women who stay calm get results. Some nights, I couldn't sleep. I'd lie awake, listening to the house settle, the pipes ticking, the wood breathing. I'd think about every favor I ever said yes to, every silence I mistook for peace. Was I too trusting? Or just too tired to believe my own doubts? The dark never answered. But the house did. One slow creak at a time. Mom stopped dropping off leftovers. Dad stopped checking the boiler. Ava texted heart emojis like peace treaties. I replied with silence. Silence has weight when you mean it. One night, I walked around the carriage house with a notebook, measuring, noting repairs, counting hours of labor I'd never bill. The house creaked like it was listening. "You and me, kid," I whispered to the walls. "We're gonna need to stand strong. Calm isn't weakness. It's armor that doesn't clatter." And I was done being easy to move. When they rewrote the story, I chose to write mine in ink. Courtrooms aren't like TV. They're smaller, quieter, the kind of quiet that hums. When I walked in, my hands shook, not from fear, but restraint. Ava sat beside my parents, their shoulders almost touching, like unity was a costume. Her white blazer looked like an apology rehearsed in fabric. The judge glanced up. Case number 28-312. My mother avoided my eyes. My father stared at the table. Their lawyer stood, smooth voice and smoother tie. Your Honor, this property was always permissive use. My client, Ava, seeks only her first opportunity for home ownership. He said it like a sermon, and first home echoed like a hymn. When it was my turn, I stood. My voice surprised me. Steady, low, sure. I'm not a squatter, I said. I'm their daughter. I paid utilities, taxes, repairs. I remodeled that structure at my expense, with permission. I have receipts. I placed the folder on the desk. Paper made a sound. Truth always does. The judge nodded once. Proceed. We walked through photos, Venmo notes, emails. Even a message from Mom. Thank you for covering taxes again. Then Ava rose. I'm not the bad guy, she said. I've been saving. I deserve a safe home. You do, I said softly. It just doesn't have to be mine. Dad muttered. She's ungrateful. The judge raised a hand. Enough. Then, a movement from behind me. Nora. She tugged my sleeve. Mom? Her voice was small but certain. Can I show the judge something you don't know? The room went still. Even the clock seemed to pause. The judge studied her, then nodded. You may. Nora pulled her tablet from her backpack like a secret. It's from our camera, she said. I saved it. The screen lit up. Our living room appeared. Empty daylight, timestamp visible. Then the door opened. My mom and Ava walked in. Mom rifled through my mail. Ava went straight to the CO detector, pulled the battery out with practiced fingers. Don't touch that, Mom said. But not like warning, like performance. Ava laughed. If the inspection fails, she'll have to move. It's faster. My mother didn't stop her. She picked up my drawings and said, We'll say we thought they were old. On screen, a tiny voice, Nora's. Hi, Auntie. Ava turned, mask perfect. Hey, sweetie, secret okay? Don't tell Mommy. The clip ended. Silence, thick and alive. The judge turned to them. My mother's mouth opened, then closed again. We didn't mean... The judge raised a single finger. Here's what we're not going to do, she said. Calm but sharp. We're not pretending this is empowerment. When it's manipulation caught on video. She signed the order. Ink clean and final. Motion denied. Petition dismissed with prejudice. And I'm entering an injunction against the plaintiffs. Then softer to me. Get your locks changed. They asked for fairness. The truth demanded consequence. The morning after court, I changed the locks. New deadbolts, new keys. The sound clicked like punctuation. End of one sentence, start of another. I hired an electrician, someone who wasn't me, because fixing everything myself was part of the problem. He asked what happened. Family project gone wrong, I said. He nodded like he'd heard that before. By noon, the carriage house felt different. Not bigger, not safer. Just mine. That evening, my phone lit up nonstop. Missed calls. Mom, Dad, Ava. Then Mom again from the landline. Guilt always needs multiple channels. I let it ring. I wrote a letter instead. 1 page, no anger, no flourish. Mom, Dad, Ava, I love you. That hasn't changed. What has changed is access. You don't get keys anymore. You don't get to decide what's mine. You don't walk in or plan my timeline. This isn't revenge, it's closure. I printed it, sealed it, and dropped it in their mailbox. The thunk felt heavier than a signature. 3 days later, Dad showed up on the sidewalk. Arms crossed like a boundary he didn't believe in. You embarrassed us, he said. In a room you chose, I replied. Your mother can't sleep, he added. She's not sick, I said. She's disappointed she didn't win. He rocked on his heels, eyes darting to the window. We were just trying to help your sister. I know, I said, you always are. Then softer. She's the baby. Then buy her a crib, I said. Stop asking me to be the mattress. He flinched. Maybe from the words. Maybe because he knew they were true. That week, silence became normal. No calls, no drop-ins, no casseroles. The quiet was raw at first, then restful. Ava posted a picture of a condo key on Instagram. Caption, homeowner vibes. The comments were confetti. I didn't flinch. Peace doesn't need witnesses. I spent weekends with Nora. We built a loft bed with drawers for stairs. She painted a sign for the door, home. Underneath, smaller letters read, no secret visits. I didn't tell her to write that. She just understood. A week later, I saw Ava at the grocery store. She smiled like nothing happened. We should talk, she said. We are, I answered. You made me the villain, she whispered. You cast yourself, I said. Her jaw tightened. Enjoy your little shack. I looked at my cart. Milk, eggs, screws. I will, I said and walked away. Mom texted, we overreacted. Ava wrote, let's talk. Dad said, family is messy. I didn't reply. Silence is a boundary that doesn't need exclamation points. They lost the house. I found the door. Weeks passed, and the quiet stopped feeling heavy. It started feeling honest. Mom texted sometimes, soft openers like, can we talk? I replied with a therapy address and a date. Sometimes they showed up. Sometimes they didn't. That was the point. Ava posted a new backsplash on Instagram. Captioned, a girl who can do both. Good for her. I didn't need to correct the record. Some stories grow better in silence. Nora and I built things instead. A cedar bird feeder. A shelf shaped like a cloud. Every screw we turned made the air lighter. On Sunday mornings, she'd test the carbon detector. Beep once, then grin. The alarm still works, she'd say. Good, I'd answer. Because now it wasn't about danger. It was about knowing we were safe. The court order stays in a clear sleeve in my drawer. Not as proof, as memory. On rough days, I touch it just to remember. I didn't imagine the harm. I just outgrew it. Last night, I sat by the window again. The same backyard lights. The same house. But this time, the peace was real. Nora's sign still hangs on the door, home. Below it, in her handwriting, no secret visits. This morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains. Nora laughed, chasing dust in the air like gold. Freedom isn't loud, I thought. It's quiet and steady. I turned the new key in the lock. Click. It sounded like closure, not caution. Like calm finally found its door. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're seatbelts. And mine finally fit. If you've ever had to choose peace over approval, you're not alone. Closure isn't a slam. It's the quiet click that means you're safe.